G'day and welcome to this module on congruency as part of the C from A.C.T in the Design Your Success course. My name is Amy Taylor. I'm thrilled to be your host today. What is congruency? Congruency to me is our connection between our behaviours and our three selves. Our three selves include who we say we are, who we think we are, and who we actually are. Understanding how congruency impacts on our behaviours allows us to reshape who we say we are and our associated behaviours. Who we think we are will impact our attitude, how we seek accountability, and our actions. Remembering that we are so much more than we see on the surface will play a part in how much commitment and consistency we are able to access. Jim Rohn says, if you don't like how things are, change it. You are not a tree. Who we think we are doesn't need to be fixed. Our identity is able to change, adapt, and adjust for our success. Our circumstances or actions can change who we think we are. For those of you who are parents, can you think back to a time before you had children? You didn't think of yourself as a father or a mother at that time. When you had children, you started to believe you were a parent, a father, or a mother. For those of you who aren't parents, think of a similar situation. Maybe it was as you learned to drive a car and become a driver, or if you graduated college or bought a house. All these examples demonstrate that we have changed who we said and thought we were through a change of circumstance. We can also change who we think we are through making a decision. Sometimes these decisions need to be accompanied with some coaching, and sometimes we can simply make the choice to think of ourselves differently. Sometimes as we make the decision, we may like to create a reference point of evidence that we created the change, such as running a race if we wanted to embed a belief that I am a runner. There's this thing in personal development world called cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is the pain or discomfort we feel when who we say we are, who we think we are, and who we actually are isn't aligned. When we say something to look good but believe something different about ourselves, we will create a sense of discomfort. The larger the gap between what we are saying and who we think we are, the more cognitive dissonance and the more the pain. If left unexplored, cognitive dissonance can contribute to things like anxiety, depression, and other medical conditions. As humans, we want to decrease our cognitive dissonance, the difference between who we say we are, who we think we are, and who we actually are, and create an environment in which those three selves align as closely as possible. Our behaviours in each moment are generally more congruent with who we say we are, followed by who we think we are, followed by who we actually are. Longer term, they're more likely to be congruent with who we actually are. Think about it. We're more likely to take an action if we've told someone about it and they are watching us. That's an example of aiming to be congruent with who we say we are. We are more likely to procrastinate or self-sabotage in the areas where our beliefs about ourselves are not aligned with the behaviour we're trying to take on. For example, if we believe that we are runners, we are more likely to get up in the morning and go running. If instead we believe that we are not runners and whatever other stories we are telling ourselves, it will be much more challenging to get up and go for a run. Sometimes we feel we need to put on a mask, say we are someone different, act in a different way to hide who we think we are because we have lost sight of who we truly are. Short term, this strategy can look like congruence and we feel good. Longer term, it's incongruent with who we truly are and creates a deep level of pain because of the cognitive dissonance. Let's unpack this a little deeper. Sharon Pearson, in her book, Ultimate You, talks about our three selves through the layers of core, crud, and crust. Who we are is our core. Who we think we are is often attached to our crud. It's who we were told we needed to be so we could receive acceptance, often linked with an emotional response of shame, guilt, or fear. Our mask or crust is who we tell people or try to demonstrate through our behaviours that we are. generally as a way of being able to fit in. I like to think of these 3 layers like a Ferrero Rocher. In the center is the nut, the hazelnut. This represents our core self, who we were when we came into the world, innocent and pure. Over time, as we interacted with parents, society, teachers, media, we were told who we needed to be, and sometimes this meant hiding our core self. And we started layering on the gooey chocolate. But that gooey chocolate couldn't be taken out into the world easily, and so we needed something to cover it and hold it together, so we added a wafer crust that we then fancied up with a chocolate covering and some nuts, and we wrapped it in foil to take it out into the world. For many of us, we then inadvertently forget about the crud. It wasn't pleasant to face, and so we avoid it. Even more than that, we forget about the nut at our core, who we truly are. What can happen as people start to go down a personal development rabbit hole is they start to peel back the layers of self. They find someone with whom they feel comfortable to share the chocolate-covered wafer under the foil. And then they peek through the wafer and discover the gooey chocolate, the crud associated with shame, guilt, and fear. Thinking that is all there is, because they can't see and don't remember the nut inside, they will pull back and shy away. This was my initial response as I started peeling away my layers. The goal of this section is to remind you of the nut within, your core, which is filled with warmth, love, joy, spontaneity, and so much more. As you move through setting goals, choosing actions, designing your success, you may need to readjust who you say you are, who you think you are, and rediscover and reclaim who you actually are. Your core self, found under all the layers of who you were told to be, who you thought you had to be. It's really important in this stage that we don't box ourselves into an identity, who we think we need to be. Instead, we can allow ourselves to tap into multiple flavors. As you explore your identity, remember, you are more than your crust. You are so much more than your crud. And at your core, you are lovable, you are worthy, and you are enough. Be sure to connect with a safe person as you explore your crud. In the exercises, you're going to discover your mask, explore some of your crud, and reclaim more of your core. As you go through these exercises, allow yourself the gift of putting your mask down just for a moment and bring flexibility, curiosity, and a willingness to just dive in and play. Flexibility means you allow yourself to let go of the rigid identity statements, such as that's just the way I am. I've always been this way. It's in my nature. And embrace curiosity with some questions like, I wonder how else I could be. When have I done this differently? Who taught me to act this way? Bring playfulness and exploration as you answer those questions. Look over the core traits handout that you'll find below. Some of these you will be rocking, others you may have been avoiding. Use the defining moments questions to explore how that was created. Brené Brown says that shame loves shadows, so I encourage you to reach out and access support as you shine a light on your 3 selves. If you're enrolled in the online course, we'd love to support you in the Facebook group. If you are enrolled in the group mentoring, we'd love to support you in our weekly group mentoring sessions. And if you're enrolled in the Build Your Inner Team of Champions sessions, I'd love to support you in your one-to-one conversations. If you want to know more about upgrading which package you're in, message me, Amy, on Facebook, or send an email to amy@wistariaenterprises.com.au with the subject line, Learn About the Packages. As always, we look forward to hearing what you loved, what you learned, and what you are going to apply in the Facebook group. I trust you've learned something valuable. I trust you've got something you loved, and I really look forward to hearing from you in the Facebook group. Have a wonderful day. Enjoy taking the actions as you design your success.